It feels like everyone's talking about AI these days, but
Yeah.
how are the folks at the top, those making the big decisions in corporate boardrooms, actually responding to all this buzz? That's the question.
Right.
That's what we're exploring today.
It's a crucial question.
Yeah, it really is, because the gap between AI's potential and its practical application in boardrooms can be quite wide.
Absolutely.
We're diving deep today into Deloitte's Governance of AI, a critical imperative for today's boards.
Interesting.
This is, believe it or not,
Wow.
our 34th deep dive into an AI report.
Keeping busy.
We really like to keep you up to speed.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a visual breakdown of all these reports, including this one,
All right.
make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Good idea.
We've got some fantastic summaries over there
Yeah.
that'll really help you connect the dots.
This particular report is especially interesting because Deloitte surveyed nearly 500 board members and executives globally.
Global.
It gives us a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
What are these decision makers actually thinking and doing about AI?
Well, the first thing that really struck me is that boardrooms seem surprisingly quiet about AI. Almost half of those surveyed said AI isn't even on their board's agenda yet.
Really?
Only 14% discuss it at every meeting. Given all the hype, is that a red flag?
It's definitely a thought-provoking finding.
Yeah.
There could be a few reasons for this. Maybe there's a knowledge gap. Some board members might not fully understand AI's implications for their specific businesses.
So they're seeing the headlines.
Right.
But not quite grasping how AI fits into their world.
Possibly, yeah. Some might be hesitant because of the uncertainties surrounding the technology, concerns about job displacement or ethical implications that we often hear about.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, there's always the possibility that some boards are simply prioritizing other more immediate issues. They see AI as something to address later, not right now.
But if they're not prioritizing it now, how are they going to catch up when it becomes unavoidable?
That's the dilemma, isn't it?
It is.
The report found that even though most boards aren't actively discussing AI, 44% of those surveyed believe their organizations need to speed up AI adoption.
Wait, so they're being told to hurry up?
Yeah.
When they don't even feel prepared?
Yeah.
That sounds like a recipe for some serious missteps.
It highlights a very real tension. On one hand, there's this pressure to keep pace with competitors. To embrace AI before they get left behind. But on the other hand, there's a lack of readiness, maybe even some fear holding them back.
Fear,
It's a bit of a hurry up and wait situation.
It definitely seems like a difficult position to be on. So how are companies navigating this? What are they actually doing with AI in these early stages?
The report suggests that a lot of early AI use is focused on what we might call practical applications.
Practical.
Things that directly impact the bottom line.
Okay, so give me an example.
Sure.
What are they actually using AI for?
Think increased productivity and efficiency. 66% of respondents said they're using AI for that. Then there's improving customer experience, developing new products, things that have a clear and measurable impact on the business.
So it's less about the futuristic, world-changing AI we often hear about, and more about finding ways to get things done better and faster.
Exactly. It's about using AI to solve immediate problems and optimize existing processes. Which, in a way, makes sense. You wouldn't expect a company to jump straight into building a skyscraper without laying a solid foundation first.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
You need that solid base before you can reach for the sky. But I'm wondering, does focusing on these immediate applications limit a company's long-term vision for AI?
That's a key question. And it's one that boards need to be thinking about. The report found that over 75% of board members admit to having limited artifice.
Wow.
Or no AI experience.
That's a huge gap. So even the people making the big decisions don't really understand this technology they're supposed to be guiding.
That's the crux of the knowing versus doing gap the report highlights.
Yeah.
Boards are being asked to make informed decisions about a technology that they might not fully grasp.
But that's where things get a little tricky.
Right.
So how are they addressing this knowledge gap?
Good question.
Are they just hoping it goes away?
Thankfully not.
Okay, good.
The report highlights several ways boards are trying to upskill themselves.
Okay, how so?
Some members are engaging in independent learning.
Right.
There's a wealth of information out there about AI.
Yeah, there is.
Others are bringing in specialists, AI experts, to provide targeted training for the whole board.
So like bringing in a consultant.
Yeah, exactly. And some companies are even going as far as adding AI experts as new board members.
So they're bringing in reinforcements.
That's right.
It sounds like they're taking the knowledge gap seriously.
Yeah, they are.
What are the pros and cons of each approach?
Okay.
Which one seems to be the most effective?
Let's start with independent learning.
Okay.
It's a great way for individual board members to learn at their own pace, but relying solely on that might not be enough.
Why not? If they're all learning, isn't that good enough?
It's a good starting point,
okay,
but it doesn't guarantee a shared understanding.
Okay.
Imagine a board where everyone has read different articles and formed their own opinions about AI. It's going to be hard to have a productive conversation, let alone make strategic decisions.
So it's like everyone's speaking a different language.
Yeah.
Even though they're all talking about AI.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's where bringing in specialists can be valuable.
Right.
Having someone guide the conversation, provide tailored training, and ensure everyone is on the same page can be really helpful.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You need a translator, someone who can bridge the gap between the technical aspects of AI and the board's strategic needs.
Exactly.
But what about the cost? Bringing in experts can be expensive.
It can be, and that's definitely a consideration.
Right.
But think of it as an investment.
Okay.
A well-informed board is more likely to make sound decisions about AI, which can ultimately lead to better outcomes for the company.
So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Short-term cost for long-term gain.
Yeah.
What about adding AI experts as board members?
Right?
That seems like a pretty direct solution.
It is, and it's becoming increasingly popular, especially for companies heavily invested in AI. Having that in-house expertise can be incredibly valuable.
So you've got someone right there at the table who can speak the language and understand the nuances.
Right.
Are there any downsides to that approach?
It's not a guaranteed win.
All right.
Technical expertise is only one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
You need to find an AI expert who also understands the business world, who can think strategically, assess risks, and contribute to broader board discussions.
Right.
It's not just about knowing the tech. It's about knowing how to apply it within a specific context.
So it's about finding that sweet spot. The AI whiz, who's also a savvy business strategist.
Exactly.
It sounds like choosing the right approach for upskilling a board is a delicate balancing act.
It is.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
The best approach often involves a combination of these strategies, tailored to the organization's specific needs and resources.
Right.
And remember, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, it is.
AI is a constantly evolving field. So boards need to commit to continuous learning and development in this area.
It sounds like a bit of a Wild West out there, even at the highest levels. But let's dig a little deeper into what this actually means for responsible AI governance. What does Deloitte's framework look like?
Right.
And how does it apply to the real world?
This framework is particularly interesting because it goes beyond the technical aspects of AI and addresses some critical questions, ethics, strategy, risk management, and implementation oversight. How are these things playing out in real companies?
That's where things get really relevant for you, our listener. Let's unpack these key areas and see how they translate into action.
Sounds good.
All right.
The report emphasizes that customer and employee concerns are top priorities.
Right.
Which makes sense. Those are the groups most directly affected by AI implementations.
Of course.
But it also predicts that regulators will play an increasingly important role as AI scales. And its impact on society widens.
So we're talking about a shift from internal concerns to external oversight. That sounds like it could significantly impact how companies approach AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that responsible AI goes beyond just making good business decisions. It's about considering the broader social and ethical implications of this technology.
Right.
And that's something that all of us, regardless of our roles or industries, need to be thinking about.
It really is.
Yeah. It's a complex landscape, and the decisions made in those boardrooms will ultimately shape how AI impacts all of us.
So let's delve a little deeper into Deloitte's framework for responsible AI governance.
Yeah.
You mentioned 4 key areas.
Right.
Ethics, strategy, risk management, and implementation oversight. And let's break those down.
Sounds good.
And see what they really mean for companies grappling with AI.
Let's start with ethics.
Okay.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
As AI systems become more integrated into our lives, the ethical implications become increasingly important.
Right.
The board has a huge responsibility here.
Okay.
They need to ensure that the organization's use of AI aligns with its values and principles, and that it doesn't inadvertently cause harm or perpetuate bias.
So it's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do.
Exactly.
There needs to be a moral compass guiding these decisions.
Precisely.
Okay.
The board needs to establish clear ethical guidelines for AI development and deployment. We're talking about addressing issues like fairness, transparency, accountability, and privacy.
Of course.
These aren't just buzzwords. They have real consequences for people's lives.
And I imagine those guidelines will need to evolve as AI technology itself continues to evolve.
Absolutely.
What about strategy? How does that fit into this framework?
Strategy is crucial.
Okay.
AI can't just be a trendy add-on.
Right.
The board needs to consider how AI aligns with the organization's overall strategy and goals.
So it's about being proactive, not reactive.
Yes.
Having a vision for how AI will drive the business forward.
Right.
Rather than just following the crowd. But how do you actually create that vision when the technology is changing so rapidly?
That's where things get challenging.
Yeah.
Why ongoing learning is so important for boards.
Okay.
They need to be asking the tough questions.
Like,
what are the key areas where AI can create value for us? What are the potential risks and challenges, and how do we mitigate those risks?
Right.
It's a constant process of evaluation and adjustment.
Okay, so that brings us to risk management.
Yeah.
Which I imagine is a big one.
It is.
When it comes to AI, what are some of the key risks that boards should be considering?
There's a whole spectrum of risks associated with AI, and they're not always the ones that immediately come to mind.
Interesting.
Of course, you have data privacy and security concerns.
Right, of course.
Which are huge.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about things like algorithmic bias, where AI systems inadvertently perpetuate existing societal biases and the potential for job displacement as certain roles become automated.
So it's not just about protecting the company.
Right.
It's about protecting people, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the responsibility lies with the board to establish clear risk management processes for AI. They need to make sure potential risks are identified, assessed, and mitigated.
Right.
And they also need to be realistic about the organization's risk appetite.
What does that mean?
How much risk are they willing to take on when it comes to AI adoption? Oh, okay.
There's a balance to be struck between innovation and responsible implementation.
So it's a lot of asking the right questions, having those difficult conversations, and making sure everyone's eyes are wide open.
Exactly.
That leads us to implementation oversight.
Okay.
What does that look like in practice?
It's about making sure AI initiatives are implemented effectively and responsibly.
So how do they do that?
The board needs to monitor progress, track key metrics, and hold management accountable for delivering on those AI goals.
Right.
And they need to ensure that the organization has the necessary resources and expertise to support AI implementation.
Yeah.
Just not something you can just throw together overnight.
So it's about having a plan.
Yeah.
Checking in regularly and making sure things stay on track.
Right.
It sounds like a pretty hands-on role for the board.
It is.
Even though they might not be the ones directly implementing the AI solution.
Exactly.
It's about striking that balance between encouraging innovation and ensuring things don't go off the rails.
Right.
And it circles back to what we discussed earlier about the knowledge gap.
Yeah.
If board members don't understand AI,
right,
how can they effectively oversee its implementation?
That's a good point. It all ties together.
It does.
So to sum up, it seems the board plays a pretty crucial role in shaping how AI is used within an organization. It's not just about understanding the technology. It's about providing ethical leadership, strategic thinking, managing risks, and keeping a watchful eye on the process.
That's a great summary.
Thanks.
And it's important to emphasize that AI governance isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process that requires continuous learning, adaptation, and engagement from the board. They need to stay curious, ask questions, and be willing to adjust their approach as the AI landscape evolves.
Okay, so we've talked about what boards should be doing. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk directly to our listeners.
All right.
What does all this mean for them?
Right.
They might not be sitting on a corporate board, but they're still interacting with AI in their daily lives.
That is an important point.
It is.
The AI revolution is happening at all levels. From the boardroom to the individual employee. The choices made today, whether in those high-level meetings or in our individual interactions with AI, will have a profound impact on our future.
True.
So even if you're not a CEO, you still have a role to play.
It's empowering to think about it that way. That we all have a stake in shaping the future of AI. But how can listeners make their voices heard? Especially when it comes to those big decisions being made at the top.
That's the question, isn't it? And I think it starts with recognizing that we're not powerless. We have more influence than we might realize.
So what can we actually do?
Give
us some concrete examples.
Absolutely.
Okay.
First and foremost, educate yourself.
Okay.
There are so many resources available, both online and offline, to learn about AI, its potential benefits and its potential risks. Stay informed. Because knowledge is power.
But it's not just about passively absorbing information. It's about using that knowledge to make a difference.
Exactly.
So how do we do that?
Engage in conversations about AI with your colleagues, your friends, your family, anyone who's willing to listen. The more we talk about AI, demystify it, the better equipped we'll be as a society to make informed decisions about its future.
So it's about taking it out of the realm of science fiction and making it a topic that everyone feels comfortable discussing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Ooh, interesting.
If you see something that doesn't seem right, if you have ethical concerns about how AI is being used, speak up. We need diverse voices and perspectives to ensure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So it's about being an active participant.
Yes.
Not a passive observer.
Exactly.
We can all be agents of change. Even if we're not sitting in those boardrooms.
And remember, this is just the beginning. The AI revolution is still unfolding. And the choices we make today will determine its course.
Yeah, they will.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and let's work together to shape a future where AI is used for good.
I love that. It's a call to action. A reminder that we all have a responsibility to help steer this powerful technology in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And speaking of steering things in the right direction, before we wrap up, I wanted to remind our listeners that we've got a treasure trove of AI insights over on our YouTube channel. We've got summaries of 33 AI reports that we've covered so far.
Wow, 33.
Plus a visual breakdown of this Deloitte report.
Awesome.
It's a great way to get a quick overview of the key takeaways and see how everything connects.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed by all this talk of AI, or if you just want a visual way to process the information, head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
Great idea.
The link is in the show notes.
It is.
We promise it's worth a look.
It is.
And we'd love to have you join the conversation over there too.
Okay, before we go.
All right.
I always like to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
Something to ponder as they go about their day.
Sounds good.
We've talked a lot about how boards are approaching AI, the challenges they face, and the opportunities ahead. But what if we flip the script for a moment?
Okay.
What if, instead of waiting for those at the top to figure it all out, we, the individuals who are passionate about AI and its potential, start actively influencing those conversations?
I like where you're going with this.
It's about empowering ourselves to be more than just consumers of AI. We can be shapers of AI.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that our voices matter. Our actions matter. Whether it's sharing our knowledge with others,
Right.
advocating for responsible AI practices within our own organizations, or even running for a board position ourselves one day.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to get involved and make a difference.
It's inspiring to think about the collective impact we can have if we all embrace that mindset.
So to our listeners,
Okay.
we leave you with this challenge.
Right.
How will you use your voice and your actions to influence the AI revolution?
Good question.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. And most importantly, do something about it.
That's the key, turning thought into action.
And on that note, we'll wrap things up for today.
Sounds good.
Keep those thoughts churning, deep divers. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into the world of AI.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.